It's going really well. They're fighting hard every day. The effort's been great. It's been incredibly competitive on both sides.
Where have you seen them grow the most from where they ended spring ball to now?
I think fundamentally is where we've grown the most. Specifically talking about the tight ends. We've had a lot of time to work individual drills, and I think the guys have really taken advantage of that and improved every day. They're doing a really good job of coaching each other right now, right? If Coach Schor is looking the other way and someone takes a false step, guys in our room are immediately correcting that.
And Coach Sale the other day was talking about how your tight ends like to get in on the blocking and really be included in that. How have you seen them kind of embrace that role of helping out the offensive line?
I think one of the first things that we talk about is toughness in the tight end room. I told these guys when I recruited them, if you're not tough, you will not play. And obviously the run game, exposes people if you're not tough. And we've got some guys in there I think are, want to be gritty players, and they've got pride in our run game working.
We had a chance to catch up with Cole at the beginning of camp. Just what have you seen from his game, especially just coming from the FCS level up here? What have you liked?
He's very eager, and I say that as a compliment for him. He wants feedback on every play, whether it's good, whether it's bad. He wants to know what I'm seeing on every play, and not just solely from the tight end perspective. He wants to know what the quarterback's reads are. I tell those guys all the time, if you're open at the wrong time, you're not open. And so he wants to know the entire play and know things on a conceptual level. And I really appreciated that from Cole so far.
Bryan, as a quarterback at JMU, former quarterback, how did you utilize the tight ends at that time compared to how you're now utilizing these tight ends here in the present?
I think there's some similarities. Like a guy like Jonathan Klusherman, I probably talk about in every interview I got. Obviously, one of my best friends and guy I played with, but very versatile, right? When you think of the tight end position, you think of versatility, right? And Klu is very versatile. I think our guys are very versatile, right? They can run routes, they can block, which we think is an advantage for us when we play other teams, that they've got to know that they're going to be a big piece of the run game, but also that we're going to split them out and then use them in the pass game as well.
For you personally, as a quarterback, certainly you had to know the complete offensive game at that time. And as you've come along as a professional coach, tell me a little bit about where you were early on in your coaching career and where you are now. What steps have you taken forward?
I think probably what's helped me the most is learning more of the run game. As a quarterback, you're a piece of the run game, but you need to know who your read is. Since I started working with the tight ends at Georgia Southern, I got a good taste of it last year of knowing the run game and knowing where we're taking advantage of defenses. And that's continued since I've got here. And that's really helped me not just understanding what the quarterback is doing or who he's reading, but more from an offensive coordinator, mindset of who we're trying to attack, who we're trying to put in positions to make tackles, all of those things on an everyday basis.
It's going great. I think guys have approached it with the right mindset, the right attitude. You see guys connecting, coming together. You see all the work that Coach Locke has done in the offseason with them paying off. They're a different breed, man. They're a different group. They operate with a chip on their shoulder. They come to work every day. So the mentality's been there. The connection is growing, as far as guys coming together as a team. So it's got to be a consistent, approach every single day to just be process-driven and put our best product on the field every single day. The position group, couldn't be more pleased. They're wired the right way. They have the right type of attitude. A mantra that we use in the room is suffer well. So that's kind of identity-based, our mindset towards doing hard things, going through adversity, being resilient. So they've shown that, if that's the baseline and that's their foundation, we got a shot. So, they're working hard. I'm very, very pleased right now.
Where did that suffer well come from?
That's a good question. A mentor of mine, Jason Seymour, a good friend of mine, we coached together a few years ago. And he'd been through a lot. He grew up on like a Indian reservation out west, and didn't have much, and they had to fight and scrap and claw for everything they got. So between him and another friend of mine there, we start saying it now. My wife and I say it to each other when the three girls are screaming and we're on an 8-hour road trip in the back seat, and I'm thinking about losing my mind. I got to take a deep breath, and I repeat that to myself over and over again. So yeah, that's just kind of the mentality that we want, And Coach Napier has done a great job of instilling a certain type of identity here, and we talk a lot about having Duke DNA. And I think that's a part of it, being able to respond the right way with the right attitude, despite, any set of circumstances or conditions. And they just keep coming out and keep fighting, regardless of that. So it's been fun.
How did you like what your guys were able to do over the summer to come together and get to this point to be ready for preseason camp?
Sorry, say that again?
What did you like out of your guys and how they came together over the summer?
I think the willingness to be vulnerable and learn each other and spend time outside of the building. Just seeing them kind of start to build a bond. And a lot of that comes from, like just shared adversity, being in the fire together, and being able to trust each other and lean on each other. When they see that they can trust a guy, when things are going wrong, they start to build a stronger bond, So I think the off-season training, makes that come to life quite a bit. So that just spending time together, making the decision to invest in each other, outside of football, getting to know each other. You've heard people talk about them talking about their whys, just being transparent about, why they're here, what makes them tick, what their purpose is, and trying to make an impact in each other's lives. So it's been good.
Who've been some of the guys with your group that have kind of stood out so far early in camp, would you say?
The group in totality has definitely, gotten better. Nakayan Jackson, Bam Jackson, he's been a strong point. He kind of operates like a pro. We call him Unk. He's an old man. He's got a process about himself. He's got a clear vision for what he wants, and he kind of attacks every day with the same type of process and mindset. Gannon's taking leaps and strides forward. He's getting comfortable in the system. His knowledge base is growing. We talked about it the other day, like in the spring, he was on step one of just trying to figure out, the system and where to align and how to execute and then understand what the call was. Now he's understanding the call, so you can go back to, breaking down an offense and what type of indicators and tells he's getting and play faster. So he's been impressive. I'll tell you what, JT Yao is an explosive individual, a great human. He's making huge strides forward. He's what you want as far as like competitive character. He's a football player. He cares immensely. He comes and meets extra. He's been doing a great job. JT Hooten, from West Alabama, everyone loves him. He's got a magnetic personality. He's making strides forward. He's got to continue to just dial in the details of the system, but he's a football player. When the pads come on, he lights up and he plays at a different speed. Jaden Studio is making huge strides. He's a very intelligent guy. He's going to be someone we can count on. He's smart. He's been a bright spot in special teams, so he's another guy who's going to play a big role.
Coach, you've been to a number of different places around the country, NFL to small college. I mean,
Yep.
all kinds of spots. Yep. When you arrived here on JMU campus for the first time, what were your initial impressions?
I remember making the drive up 2 hours and going to Hotel Madison. And first impression is, we're definitely right in the Blue Ridge Mountains, beautiful area. And then you step on campus, and then you get a chance to be around the people. And the people make the place, man. Everyone is totally invested in the JMU Dukes. I think they put their heart in it. Like we always say, blue collar, chip on their shoulder, like a gritty group of people who are truly invested in the success of this organization. So that's what you see. The support around the town, is awesome. It's a true college town. I don't think there's any place like it. It's just been different for me. It's like a true college town, kind of a last of a dying breed mentality, with just the level we're at and the type of people around and just the level of football that they consistently play. The people have been impressive.
Coincidentally, the first opponent will be your last employer.
That's right.
So any thoughts on that, or do you just put that aside, or will it be something when you wake up on game day, going up against the old Flames?
To be honest, I've put a lot of thought into it. Naturally, there's a lot of, emotions and relationships there. Being there 3 years and, recruiting and developing and growing relationships there, that's going to be a big part. It's going to be an emotional day. It's going to be fun. There's just the chance to go out there and compete and just having a little something extra because everybody across the sideline. It's going to be fun. We're going to be excited. I know, JMU and the fans are going to show up in a big way, and these guys are going to be definitely ready to go. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.